Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the weekly Dailey podcast. In this week's episode, I talk with a good friend, very funny comedian in Denver, Colorado, Edward Bell. We talk a little bit about some of the shows and tours that we did throughout 2022, the good, the bad, the interesting, everything in between. Make sure to follow him on social media at Edward Bell Comedy. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the episode. Did you do any shows this week?
I did Don't Tell last night.
How was that?
It was really good. It was sold out. It was.
Where was it at?
That Mashroom Studios, the same place as Firecracker.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a little collab.
Nice. Were the Firecracker?
Yep. Yeah.
ladies on it? Okay.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, it was
Nice.
cool.
Is that their first time there?
This is the first time doing a Don't Tell there. Yeah.
Okay. You said you did Locust on Friday?
Yeah, I did Locust on Friday, and that was a really good show.
Yeah, I did that the week before, and it was so packed. It seemed like you said.
Yeah, it was completely packed out. It's a weird place. It's like because it's apple juice or whatever.
Yeah. It was funny. When I did it, it was so packed that people were like fighting over seats.
Wow.
I almost saw somebody came in and saved a section for like 12 people, but only one was there. So like
Right.
couples were sitting down. She's like, I have 12 people coming. And they thought, because we were moving some stuff around, so they kind of came up to me and I can't remember who the other person was, but as if we worked there to try to
Right.
like deal with like, hey,
Can you
and it's
sell
like,
this?
I'm not involved in this.
That's so funny. Yeah, there were enough people that all the chairs were full and the comics had to stand. So
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
it was pretty packed, but not as packed as when Ben Dailey's there.
Oh yeah. People come out in Locust. Did you hear Ethan got his car stolen
Where? Like
at Locust?
at Locust?
Yeah, he said so.
Really?
It was the same one I was on, and this is pretty funny. I mean, it sucks for him, but he texted me and was like, "Somebody stole my car." He left Locust at 10:15, and on security camera, his car was stolen at 10:04.
Dude, that's so close. 'Cause, yeah, man, that'd be. What would you do if you saw someone stealing your car?
I don't know. I'd be like, "Gosh,
Well, I
he wants
mean-
a Honda Fit."
Well, usually they just steal a car because it's easy to steal.
Yeah, I think that's the
Specific
only good thing
models.
about having a stick shift is people probably they break in and they go, "Oh, we made a big mistake."
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Yeah, he found it. They found it, but it was totaled. He was basically like, it was kind of like what happens in the movies. They're like, they did all the things that you don't want them to do in it.
Yeah, the joyride.
Yeah. It's just like total now. But I was like, oh, and he was like, my notebook was in there. That was
Oh,
his big
man.
gripe. I was like, man, what a bummer.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wouldn't think it would get stolen there. It was, I don't know, it seemed very,
Yeah.
suburbs.
Well, I was saying that. I was like, that's the nice part. But other people who like grew up here were saying that they're like, well, it's the kind of gentrified area in a place that hasn't been
Sure.
great. Maybe you told me that.
I don't know. People call it Lake Hood or whatever.
yeah.
I've never really spent much time over there, but in that area in particular, it's very nice. It's like pedestrian
Yeah.
mall.
Yeah. I think they took away the paid parking.
Yeah, it was free. It actually, I was
scared I was
by-
going to get a ticket.
Yep,
Because
I
I
was
was like,
so
where's
worried.
where do I pay? I'm always concerned. I'm always like,
I don't trust
I think
free
the
parking.
government, they have these things that don't work, but they're like, we'll still ticket you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm always paranoid about stuff like
No,
that.
they took them like clean out. There's
yeah,
no way
yeah.
to pay.
I was
yeah.
walking up and down like a moron.
Yeah, so did I.
Just like ready to talk to strangers and be like, did you guys
yeah, did you pay?
pay?
No, I looked at the sign and it just said no overnight parking. I was like, that's
Oh.
crazy, man.
Interesting.
I don't ever trust free parking.
Yeah, I'm always scared that something's going to happen. You got any fun shows coming up?
Odell on Thursday, the
Oh,
funnest
yeah.
show in
The
town.
funnest show in town, yeah. That should be good. We don't have any tickets.
Zero.
Nobody's
Sitting at zero right now.
sitting at zero. Yeah,
Well.
we'll have to start pumping out the promo. Yeah, I did. What did I do? I did Force Room 5 last Tuesday, Valentine's Day.
How was it?
It was. It was Valentine's Day,
So it could be
wasn't-
weird. Were there people out?
There
Sometimes
was-
there's a lot.
There was probably about 10 people,
Sure.
which for that room isn't bad. It wasn't terrible, but
Yeah.
if you get, like you said, it was fun when you did it.
It was
a room-
incredible. Yeah, because it's so small.
Yeah,
It's so small, and he had it packed when I did it. It was cool.
yeah. It's kind of funny. He was talking about how he told all the comics not to stand behind the bar.
Yeah, I did that, and the guy got so mad at me. He's like, "You can't stand behind the bar." And it's like, yeah, but where else am I gonna stand?
I know. I was like, what? And I mean, obviously, people probably don't know. It does. I thought it was a piano. It's just like a tiny little side room.
Yeah.
And I was like, he wasn't in there serving drinks, was he?
No, and there's nothing in.
Yeah, there's no
the-
alcohol there. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of like a corner of the room. It's like you can stand anywhere except right in the corner.
Yeah. The guy said it to me twice, and I was like, yeah, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Okay, there was nowhere to stand.
Yeah.
You know.
I did that Longmont thing. You didn't find the stream, did you?
No, I googled it. I wanted to see your first TV credit, buddy.
Oh, dude. It's pretty cool that they have like all the equipment. I guess it's similar to the Denver like open media thing.
Right, public
where it's-
access, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so they have like a bunch of nice equipment and they streamed it. But you're like, don't put it out there.
Were there people there?
There were like 10 people there, but it was funny. It was similar to a lot of shows we've done in like the Midwest that we'll talk about here in a bit, where best case scenario is like an older couple going like this. Like if they loved the joke, they'd go, and you're like, oh, okay, no.
That's odd because old people usually love you.
Oh,
dude.
old people, yeah, that's my demo. But they, it was funny too because I found the stream and I watched some of it, and even though the crowd wasn't laughing much during the set, it wouldn't have mattered because they only had the main mic.
Sure.
They didn't mic
They
the
didn't mic
crowd,
the
so it was
crowd,
literally
yeah.
just like a monologue in a room by yourself.
Dude,
Funny.
public access always has that look too, where if you see it on like a TV, it just, I don't know. It
Yeah.
has an aesthetic where it
Yeah.
seems slightly unhinged.
People who use that as a credit, it's probably something they're like, should I even use this as a credit?
Right. You were on, what was it, Longmont, you said?
Yeah.
Longmont public access.
Yeah. It is cool. I mean, it's cool that they have that.
I can't believe it's funded still.
I know.
Because YouTube's free.
Yeah. They had 3, I assume, employees, 3 cameras, 3 employees there, 2 working the camera, 1 working like the, I guess just like the live shot, switching cameras.
Sure.
So it was, I was like, wow, that's, I don't know if they're volunteering.
Probably.
But
That's-
maybe, yeah.
I can't imagine they're making a lot of revenue at public access.
Probably not. But that was fun. But yeah, let's hop in. We're gonna this episode just kind of gonna go through some. So we've done.
So what before that? But what is this? What am I doing right now? What is this podcast?
So this podcast is the Weekly Daily,
Oh man,
a weekly podcast about me, Ben Dailey, where I talk about my journey as a stand-up comedian. That's why I asked you if you wanted to do "quote unquote" the pod.
That's why you want to say the name, because I would have said no if you told me the name.
Yeah, I said I'd save the jokes for later.
The Weekly Daily. I hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it so much.
Yeah.
And you've been unemployed for how many days?
Only a week. I'm starting work tomorrow.
7 days it took you to start a podcast.
That's
though.
all. What it was on my. I got my goal list somewhere, and I said I'm gonna start. I didn't do it in January. All it took was a week off of work to go. I should probably accomplish something. So I'm trying to get a backlog. I've got 2 episodes. Obviously
So this one's coming out in like April.
this one will come
Like
out
May.
in a week or 2. I'm probably just going to release. The first one I did was just like 25 minutes of me kind of giving an overview of stuff to the point where I was like, I don't think this is going to be interesting to anybody, even people who are like my family, because it's just like there's no specifics. It's like I did some of this last year and this, and it was kind of hopping around rather than like specific stuff. So for this one, yeah, I figured we've gone on some tours together last year. How many did we go on? Maybe 4.
Yeah, it depends what you call a tour. I don't know. We went on the road a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. We did. So we did March. I guess we'll explain a couple of the ones that we did, and then we can kind of go through the good, the bad, the favorites, the least favorites. You think there's a favorite among them?
Yeah, there were definitely good shows. Like the first run, I felt like, we could have just been more excited at that time in our lives. But
yeah, that was a.
Boss Comedy was incredible, and getting to do 2 shows.
Yeah, no, that was super fun. That's probably, spoiler, that might be
The highlight of your
the
life.
highlight. But yeah, so we did March last year, 2022. We did 5 or 6 shows throughout Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Kansas. Then we did a May run through Wyoming. It was just a weekend, 2 shows. We did August in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And then we did a Nebraska run where we did 3 or 4 shows. So yeah, quite a few kind of little runs last year. I guess out of those, let's start with the worst, which I think we both know which one that one was. But what was your least favorite?
I think my least favorite town in America is Dumas, Texas.
And I imagine that's the tail end show on the worst run of the
of my life. Yes, the worst. Yeah, where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be a comedian after this.
That one, I think that one hit us all hard. Which is, it's funny. So I imagine that's the worst run. So that was August of last year when we did Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and it's funny because for me, so it was me, Ed, and another comic in the scene, Austin, and for the runs that we've done together, we usually do shotgun style. Everybody's doing, I guess for this one, did you do, 30, 35 at the end?
Yeah, I think it was, mostly 30s, honestly,
okay.
Because you guys were doing 25s.
Yeah, because the first run, I was like maxing out at 19 and getting flack for not hitting 20.
Dude, because I had to carry the weight of the rest of the show, dude. I had to do an extra minute.
Well, that's what I was used to, going first. So I would go first, and then Austin, and then Ed, and we just do shotgun style. So it was a pretty bad run with a lot of shows that weren't very good. But I'm used to going first. I'm used to biting the bullet and kind of.
Yeah, you're a real hero.
Yeah, a real hero. Yeah,
that's for sure.
But the other runs we've done, I'll go kind of bite the bullet and kind of try to get them on board, and then you and Austin will bring it home. And this was just one of those where it wasn't really brought home.
Yeah, we should have stayed home for sure. That's
oh man. Yeah, let's go. So the first show we did, should we name? But we don't have to name places.
No, I don't. Yeah. Or you just mean to talk negatively about? I'm never going back to Dumas, Texas.
Oh, so that one. Yeah, we can name that one.
Which actually the show was fine, whatever. It was just, being.
Yeah. And we did.
So at the end of that run, it was just.
The first show we did was, the first show, honestly, looking back on it, was one of the.
What was the first show on that run?
The Looney Bin.
The Looney Bin? Yeah, that was
in Wichita.
Good. It was just, it was a Wednesday, so it's always a different crowd.
So Wednesday, average age, over or under 100?
Definitely over 100, dude.
It was a very...
You ever been the youngest person in the room by 70 years?
Yeah, you ever just start every premise and go, this isn't relatable at all to people who are in, nursing homes? Yeah, so that one, that was first time doing that club. You said you'd done an open mic there before?
Yeah, and the crowd was much, much younger. So I think that was just the Ben Dailey people coming out.
Yeah, I bring out the old folks. But that one we had a host for. So really not as many excuses as maybe I could have for other shows where it's like, well, I was biting the bullet.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we had a host and
he did great right before you, and boy.
he did great for he did his job.
Yeah,
and then it was
nosedived that. No, I don't think it was that bad. I can't remember.
No, it was. It was just one of those crowds similar to the Longmont one, where you get a bunch of older folks, and you can see the smiles and chuckles, but it's just best case scenario for your best joke is like a spattering of giggles.
For sure, yeah.
Which is hurts a little bit. It's almost like I'd rather just boo me or love me.
Yeah, I get that. But for the record, I did do the best on the show. So.
Well, yeah, you did. That's why you were headliner. That's a funny. That was my first time there. I was just listening to Dusty Slay's podcast. He was talking about the Looney Bins, and he said that none of the Looney Bins have a green room.
Interesting. Are they all connected to the condos?
I don't know that.
Okay.
But it was interesting to hear that so there was no green room there, so we just sat in the back table, and you have to go to the bathroom or whatever. You got to just walk through, and everybody's like, there they are.
Yeah, I hate that because their dumb faces are on the
poster.
Yeah,
oh, man. They just see, we're just like, oh, we're just these people hanging out in the back. But that was, I mean,
it was a good show.
that was
it was cool.
decent enough.
It was
I've
at a
done
club.
way
Yeah.
worse, and we did way worse.
Yes, I mean it was good.
AKA the next show in El Reno, Oklahoma. We did a theater there.
Yeah, you don't need to name it, but
What was your? I mean, I think we talked about. I think it was one of these theaters that had a pretty high capacity, and you're like, we're not gonna hit that. And I was like, we're gonna sell it out.
Was it almost 500 people? How
It
big?
was 400 seats, and we got
50.
50. Yeah, which I ended up booking that one. I was overly confident about being able to fill it out because I thought it was like connected to Oklahoma City. Turns out it's like 45 minutes to an hour from Oklahoma City.
You were like, it's a suburb. It's a suburb. I'm like, all right, well, cool. We're driving through the Oklahoma City. It must be a suburb on the other side.
Yeah.
And then we kept driving.
We went through some pretty empty patches of...
We went through farmland.
Yeah.
We went through another town.
It's a town of 15,000, and it was on a Thursday night, and it was the first day of school. So getting 50 people, honestly, felt, if you're looking
first
at
day of
glass
school,
half full.
even though none of them had been in school for about 90 years. So
yeah, average age there again about 100. The funny thing, so it was a theater, and it was cool. They like had the marquee, and I was like, ooh, we were, I don't know. I was like, this is cool, and then we proceeded to not have a great show. But we first got there, and it was funny because they do, what was it, ghost tours?
Yeah.
That was like their big draw.
Well,
and the lady let us know about us.
Yeah, the whole town did seem haunted. So.
Yeah. Yeah. We walked in there and introduced ourselves, and immediately she was like, let me tell you about some ghosts that have been following me around. Like, no joke. She was like, yeah, one followed me home, but he protects me.
I was like, I don't know if that's a ghost. That's
yeah. That sounds like a stalker. Sounds like you need to call the police. But then also what was super funny, so it's fortunately we had 50 people there, and it's 400 seats, but they had the theater's like section, so we had everybody in the front section. So it was best case scenario as far as funneling people up there. But the stage had, it wasn't a strobe light. What's like a multicolored light?
I don't know. It was one of it was red, blue.
And it was like a light.
Whatever.
It was a light on the stage that switched through all the colors. And so
I totally forgot about this because I cared so little because we were in a theater that held 400 people and 50 people were there.
Oh, and I asked the guy, the technician or whatever, the guy that worked there, I go, hey, do you mind cutting the lights off before we start? And he just goes, I don't know how to do that. And so we just did a full show with just multicolored lights just changing beside us, which probably didn't help, but I don't know that.
I don't think it hurt. Honestly.
I don't think it hurt as much as I would like to say it hurt.
I love that show because when I left, you were doing great. And then I left for about 10 minutes, and I come back in, and you look like you had died up there.
Oh. Well, it's funny. Those shows, some shows in the Midwest, like I'll start my set
Is
with,
Oklahoma the Midwest? I don't know.
I don't know.
We never
I just say, oh, yeah. It's some shows in general where it's kind of middle of nowhere. I'll start my set with what I think is my weakest material. But in some of these towns, that's the material that it's just like mundane, like job jokes and
always a good move in stand-up comedy, by the way, to start off real slow. Really,
well, my main goal is to just get a couple laughs before I hand it off to the
before the runway that is Ben Dailey.
Yeah. But the job jokes that I had and said, they were into it, and then all my quote unquote best jokes, they were like, we're not fans of this at all. But yeah, that one. What did we do after? We walked around that town, and nothing was open.
Nothing was open.
I mean, we were like, do you guys have food? And
it was literally nothing. We had to eat at Walmart.
Yeah, we did. Kind of. Well, and then what did we do on Friday? Friday was Tulsa.
That was, I mean, that's one of the best shows I've like ever done. That was really a lot of fun, and that's a cool city.
That was for sure the highlight of that run.
Yeah,
we did a small theater there. And that was super fun. We were able to sell it out, and we actually had average age probably like 50. So there were some people who were like in their 30s, which was a pretty
people in their 30s and
incredible thing. What did you feel like you had a good set there, or was it just like fine?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it seemed better than the other sets.
Yeah, it was
the night before, but I think the night before was so debilitating that we were all pretty low morale.
Oh yeah,
going into the show. I thought it was good.
we needed that one.
Also, it was just fun to go hang out in Tulsa afterwards.
Yeah, that was a good time. I enjoyed Tulsa for sure. I thought it was so funny that the guy that I set up renting the theater from, he had worked at the theater, didn't they say, since he was like 12, and he was like 85.
Yeah,
I mean, they were like, he's been here since the 40s. And on the stage, on the like very side of the stage, he just hung out. I don't know. I don't think he was there during your set or Austin's set, but he was at the sound booth on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
And my entire set, 25 minutes, I just heard him coughing like 10 feet from me. And so the whole set, I was just sitting there thinking, like, do the people in the audience hear this guy?
I don't think they could.
I don't think he heard himself, because if he did, it's like, don't do that. You gotta you gotta move further away from the.
Or he just had COVID, man.
Yeah, he's 85, just toughing it out. Yeah, that was so that was a decent one, and then Saturday it really took a turn.
Well, yeah, because you set up like a 1:30 p.m. show.
Yeah, I tried to double down. We did.
This is an epic mistake.
Oh, dude, it was not good. We did a 6:00 show on Saturday, and is it Sulphur Springs?
Yeah, which actually the town was cool and the brewery was really cool.
Yeah.
It's just we were not cool.
Oh my gosh, that was. Would you say that was the hardest bomb
of my life? Of the tour, for sure. Absolutely. Everybody just one after another.
Yeah. So it was a 6:00 show. What was it? 100 degrees. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I was wearing shorts. That was my attitude going into the show. So.
It was so hot, and then I mean, there were 40 people there, maybe 30 to 40. I mean, it filled out the like space that they were in. And I mean, we just one after another went up there and just nothing.
Yeah, it was rough.
Nothing. They tipped us well though,
Insane.
which was hilarious.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe that's how they enjoy comedy there.
Yeah, they're like
the brewery was really cool though.
Brewery was a cool spot. As soon as we got there, we got criticized for our choice in barbecue.
I hate that. Anytime you go someplace, you'll ask someone for a recommendation. They're like, I don't know, like anywhere is good.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I went to this place. They're like, that's the worst barbecue place.
She was literally like, you're an idiot. We're like, we just came into town and Googled barbecue places. Our bad. But then after that, so we had 2 shows that night.
So that show was bad.
That show was very bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like comically bad to where you're like trying to, I don't even know if we did much crowd work. It was one of those where you like try to engage people because they're not engaged, and they make it so obvious that they don't want to be engaged. You're like, I guess I'm just eating it for 20
It was
minutes.
one of those shows where whenever you got the light, you just stopped talking. It didn't matter if you were finished with the joke. You're like,
you didn't even see the light. You just saw the cell phone coming up. You go, I got it. I'm getting out of here.
Thanks for being here. Have a good night.
Yeah, that one was funny. So then we rushed from there to another spot, which was kind of the main show that night, which actually was...
That show was good.
That show was good.
It was a really good show. It was a cool crowd. And the town seemed cool. It was just we had to rush there.
Yeah.
There was 0 time.
Yeah.
I mean, we peed behind a Dollar General because we had no time to
It would have been... Yeah, we did. It would have been much cooler to just hang out. And what was that, in McKinney?
Yes. Yeah, that would have been cool to actually hang out and...
and just skip the bombing in
Sulphur
Springs.
Shouldn't have done a 6 p.m. show. What was it? Was it start at 6?
It started at 6. And it's the sun could not have been out
more
for longer at that point in the year, you know?
Yeah, I forgot that whole tour. Like, it was like really hot the
Yeah.
whole time. So
Yeah.
we're just in your little car the whole
Little
time.
Honda Fit, just pumping the AC. We
That thing is a road warrior. It has seen the country.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to bring back some of the Honda Fit jokes, and I did them at an open
Because
mic.
people have been asking.
Because people have been requesting, and I did them at an open mic last night at like kind of like a dive bar in Arvada, and I talked about how my Honda Fit got shot. Somebody shot it while I was driving, and Lizzie Wilson came up to me after, and she goes, yeah, some dude in the back goes, yeah, I'll shoot a Honda Fit. And then the next comic was like, He just mentioned, he said, I moved here from California, and that same dude was like very upset about that guy being from California.
It's
It was like one of those towny.
If it has an open mic on a Saturday night, dude,
Yeah.
how many pool tables were there?
Oh man, maybe only 2, but they were there. Yeah.
Yep, I knew, and I know the place. I know the type.
Yeah. It was right
Saturday.
across from Rockabilly's. You ever do that show?
No, I never did that
Okay.
show. That was one of your weird COVID shows, right?
No, it wasn't one of my shows.
Or you
One
did
of-
it during COVID though? Wasn't it only thing?
Well, it wasn't during. I mean, I
You
was
did peak lockdown. They were like, "We're locking this country down," and you were like, "No."
No, Arvada is still open. I can't remember when. It was probably middle to end of 2021.
Okay, so it was after.
Yeah.
I thought that was just one of those weird shows that only existed during lockdown, because there was a handful of those.
Yeah, yeah, they came and went. No, but that one, what was the club's name in McKinney?
McKinney, the arena, right?
The
Comedy Arena.
Comedy Arena.
That was
Yeah.
cool. It would have been fun to actually check out that downtown
Yeah,
near it and get to know the town instead of just drive in, do the show.
yeah,
and then
that was a
go to the
mistake.
hotel.
That was my bad.
Yep.
But that was a fun little room. It's like a little 75-person room. The green room was super weird though.
Well, yeah, you're just stuck behind the stage. You can't
Yeah.
leave once you're in the green room.
It's like a hallway behind the stage, and if you want to go out and like escape it and go out to the bathroom or anywhere, you just have to like walk out literally a foot from the stage and just into a table of people and be like, excuse me. So we just stayed back there. I was too scared to film. That probably would have been the best set that I had.
Yeah. Well, it'd have been weird to like go and start it.
Yeah,
and
I was
then-
like, you know what?
and then,
I'm about 0 for 4 so far, so I'm going to just not
Yeah, you're
film
like,
this one.
This is the set. This
Yeah.
is the one
Yeah.
I'm going to get my tape from, even though. No, you did fine in Tulsa the night before.
Yeah, Tulsa.
Oh, but then Sulphur Springs was so bad, I forgot. That
Oh, yeah.
we were
But it was funny for me because, like I said, I'm used to kind of, especially if
bombing,
it's a super cold show, it's like, all right, well, it's not going good, but you guys will bring it home. And it was just never, I mean, it just
Sulphur Springs
nothing.
was tough.
It was comically bad. But then Sunday, yes. So the Sunday show, Dumas, Texas.
Yeah, I was just over it.
I mean, how many people? That town couldn't have had more than 5,000 people.
Yeah, but the average age at that show really low, actually.
Children. I mean, we had children running around in the back, which, I mean, at that point, you're like, let's do comedy to kids. It can't be worse than what we've been doing before. But, that one was a bit of it wasn't good. Your set, I mean, you had to deal with that drunk lady that came in.
Yeah, I mean, it probably helped to be
Oh,
honest.
yeah. She literally was so drunk. She sat, there was like a couch behind where we were performing. So we were performing to a bunch of like picnic tables. And then behind, we weren't on the stage, but just behind the comics, like in a little cubby of the brewery, was a couch. And this drunk lady just came in and sat there for like 5 minutes and was heckling you from behind.
Yeah, that was a new one for me. But I mean, that show was only going so well anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely not the worst show of the tour, but
Yeah, what would you say the worst one was?
Sulphur
Sulphur
Springs.
Springs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was. But also, I felt like I had zero chance because it was at 6 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think which one hurt. The Sulphur Springs, yeah, that one probably hurt the most, but the stakes were lower when it's like a theater setup or something and it's going like that. It's like, oh, God.
Well, because there's always a point where you're like, oh, I'm not gonna get them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because for a while you're like, nah, I'm gonna though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. You just wait. And then
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Then you get up there and you do 3 jokes and you go, these were the best ones that I felt like might get them. Yeah, so that was that run. And yeah, average age very high. Tulsa was fun.
Tulsa was great, and the clubs were both great.
Yeah, yeah. And we got to go out in Tulsa, which was fun. We got to stay like downtown, right by seemed like a pretty central part of town. So that was kind of the highlight of
Your year.
my year. Yeah. What would you say was the best run
The best run
from your point of view?
I mean, the first run was I enjoyed more the Nebraska one with going up through the Midwest, but also it was the first one and we were most excited.
Yeah,
because we were the least qualified. So
yeah, yeah. That one was. Were there any bad? There's a bit of a thing, but
that run though, it started on a Wednesday or a Thursday?
Started on a Thursday.
Thursday, and that was a theater.
Yeah.
It was the nicest theater we'll ever play in our entire lives.
Easily.
I mean,
it's one of those where like a small town just literally they told us pumped $250,000 into renovating.
It was so nice. It was pristine.
Yeah.
We could watch the show from the back, the green room.
Yeah.
Because it was just piped in.
Yeah.
It was streaming.
Green room, streaming. There was, they had people there to help with, every technical aspect, lighting, mics. Yeah, that was Hastings, Nebraska. And we left. There was a big snowstorm, and I was super paranoid. I think we all were.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah. And we ended up, we ended up getting a pretty decent amount of people in the crowd. And I thought that one was great. Like, it was a little bit tighter because the age was high, but tighter compared to, like, Boss Comedy Club. It was still, at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was totally a good show. I remember having fun.
Yeah. I remember our first, tell the story of the first patron who came into the...
No.
To be
No, we're not doing that. That's mean. It's not mean.
Well, not to be mean, just to
all right.
reiterate our...
It was the Ben Dailey demographic was there. That I'll say that.
No, but the next show was super fun.
I will say your crowd, dude, always punctual. Always very on time.
Oh, yeah. They're ready to get there, get it started, so they can get home to bed. They respect the 8 hours. No, but next show, that run, we did Hastings, Nebraska, then we did Friday in Sioux Falls, or like South Dakota.
Yeah, they touch, so that's a true suburb.
Yeah. So people were coming probably from
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls, but that was a super fun. We got to do
that ruled
two shows in one night. And so what was the first one? They sold out like the 8 o'clock show, so they added a 6 o'clock show on a Friday, and we were like,
it was just an hour though.
It was just an hour, and I remember thinking like, if we get 15 people,
that'd be great.
Great, but we got like 80.
Yeah,
and they were super into it. And then the 8 o'clock show, sold out, 140 maybe. And super
fun crowd,
super fun. Yeah, that's probably the hardest I've seen you cry. Like just 45 minutes of like people losing their mind.
That was fun. Yeah, I'm excited that we get to go back there. That's a cool place because you never go to South Dakota.
Yeah,
like, what's this gonna be like? And then it ripped, dude.
That was great because the setup too. It's like a comedy club that's on the weekends, but it's like a banquet hall of a chicken and pizza place,
like a restaurant. Yeah.
So people would get the pizza and chicken beforehand, and just like buffet style. And you never know, people. You're like, are they going to be tired from all the carbs? But they were super into it.
Yeah, they were cool. They ordered drinks the whole show and stuff. It was a cool party crowd. They were into it.
Yeah,
they were cutting loose.
Yeah, some lady came up to us with her like 10-year-old kids.
Yeah,
and they were like, they loved you. It's like, I don't know if 10-year-olds understand how comedy
you're
works.
Talking about rent.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, my job put in my 2 weeks, and they're like, this is great.
Yeah, that was incredible. That's a career highlight. Still.
That was super super fun. Yeah, probably the best show that we've done.
Yeah, absolutely.
On our runs, I would say for sure. And then we did a no longer existing club in the suburbs of Kansas City.
Yeah.
What was it? Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day, right?
Yeah, Groundhog Day Theater.
Yeah.
It's like an improv theater. Which honestly,
it was cool. It's just the way that Kansas City spread out. We were so deep in the suburbs.
Yeah.
We weren't even close to Kansas City, but it was technically touching Kansas City.
Yeah. It was fun. I mean, it was probably the worst show of that run.
I mean, I did absolutely fine on that show still. You guys struggled a little bit, but
I went out first, and I did the classic, went out, I said, how's everybody doing tonight? And they didn't have the stage mic'd, so my next thing was, can you guys hear me? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I don't think you guys can hear me. So for the next, 5 minutes, I was just, saying my jokes, but thinking about, I don't think the mic's on.
yeah.
This is a
I know
smaller
that-
room.
I know that feeling. But that was the only show you got brought up, dude.
That's true.
Yeah.
Got
Coming
God
to the
mic'd on.
stage, Ben Dailey.
You God mic'd me on it in our August run at that theater in El Reno.
Oh, yeah. I hated that you made me do that. You wrote an intro and you handed it to me.
Yeah, I said just read it. Just don't make me. I'm tired of doing the intros. But the Groundhog's Day, that wasn't that bad. It closed not too long
Yeah, it's a bummer.
after that.
No, it was fine. I did fine, and that's all that really matters.
Closed it out. Yeah. If I couldn't get them or Austin couldn't get them, then it's like, well, Ed, you gotta do your job.
Yeah,
You gotta bring them home.
That one was totally fine.
Yeah, that one wasn't. And then we did the theater mansion in Iowa as just like a showcase.
That was amazing. That was such
Yeah,
a fun
that's a super
hang.
cool room. That was
We
our
got to stay in the mansion.
yeah.
That was cool, and that was haunted as well.
Did they
So-
say? Is it?
Yeah, they
supposed
do
to be
ghost
haunted?
tours. They got upset because they forgot to take us on the ghost tour because I think we
Oh.
arrived a little later or whatever.
I would have loved to do that.
Yeah, we got the tour of the top part, but I guess the ghost tours through the basement.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that was it's like a Sunday show that's run in what part of Iowa?
Davenport.
Davenport.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
Quad
very fun.
Cities. Yeah,
It's cool to do like a showcase style where you're not in charge of selling tickets and stuff.
yeah.
In the middle of a run like that, just to be like, let me just. It
Have
was
a
like a
good
cool,
time. Like scene show. Like it was. Yeah, you could tell it was a very established thing. Like they had regular people that went to that show.
Yeah, yeah. Then what was the last show we did? Oh, yeah, I don't remember.
The show was fine.
Yeah, show's fine. Beatrice, is that Beatrice?
Beatrice.
Nebraska did a brewery show on a Monday, and we sold it out. And I remember being like, we know how to market. And then we got there and realized that the town is literally shut down Mondays and Tuesdays.
It was
so
the
everybody was
only
looking
open
for
thing.
something
Yeah.
to do.
It was literally the only open business on the whole street. We walked down the main street up and down.
Yeah, that one. I mean, again, we asked people like, where can you go to eat? And they're like, there's one Burger King in town.
Yeah.
It's open on Monday and Tuesday. I'm like, oh, you got like a grocery store or something? It was crazy too because a lot of people came from Lincoln. Right?
Lincoln. Yeah, that was
It was like our biggest.
Yeah, which is weird because we went to Lincoln and those people did not come.
Oh.
Later in the year.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that was one of the rougher. Doing 30 minutes to 8 people on a Sunday that, and just a, golly,
Yeah, man.
that was comically not great.
That is funny to think about. They all came for that one show on a Monday in Beatrice, but
Yeah,
not at all when we played Lincoln 2 nights in October.
yeah, man, 2 night. Yeah, that was.
Another Ben Dailey mistake.
Well, I like I said, another comic set up the the other Lincoln one. Yeah. So what would you say? I guess outside of the ones we've done, have you done? I mean, you've done a lot of runs on your own. What's the best run you've done?
I
just
mean,
in
they
general?
all have just terrible ups and downs. So, yeah, I mean, you really only end up having like favorite shows to do.
Do you have something stick out?
My
show?
favorite show in the country is in Northwest Arkansas. It's at Black Apple Cider, and it's
Mhm.
just like this. It's always packed out. It's like this cool little liberal town in Arkansas, so they're super comedy hungry. And
Have you done that multiple times?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I have.
nice.
I did it. I featured one time, and then I came back and I headlined it. And oh man,
Nice.
it's like one of those rooms where you're like, I could probably record an album here.
Yeah.
Like it's just that good.
Nice.
You know?
Is that like a free show?
It's a free show. Yeah, and it's every Thursday at this cidery. And
Is it set? How's it set up? Is it like
they have a stage with lights. Like you could have a whole band there,
Mhm.
and then just chairs lined up.
and is like half the room where they serve the cidery, or is it like a?
It has a bar on the back side.
Okay, so
so
it's-
it's completely separate. So it's very much showroom and then bar.
Nice.
separate. So it's very good.
Nice. Do you have like something that sticks out as the worst show you've ever done outside of the ones we just talked about?
I mean, I've just done comedy a lot of places that comedy should not be happening.
That's your way of saying I don't want to talk poorly about anything other than the
I
bad
can't,
shows.
I can't really think of anything specifically that was horrible. I've done a lot of bad dive bars where just nobody cares that the show's happening.
Yeah.
But
that's something
that's
I've
like
noticed
a different level of bad.
A lot when I try to think about like the worst bombs I've ever had. I mean, I've certainly not done well a lot, but I don't have like
some would say most of the time.
Most of the time is I'm just consistently bad, but I don't have. I feel like after doing a handful of these in the beginning and then just doing a ton of them over time, kind of the more chaotic shows. Going in with the mentality of like, this probably isn't gonna be great.
Sure.
And then maybe it doesn't go that great, but at least you're aware beforehand, so you're not like that bomb where you're like, I should be doing well.
Sure.
And I'm not.
Yeah, I mean a lot of that's like earlier on though.
Yeah. I mean I'm waiting for like a very like a perfect setup of people who are sitting there attentive and they're just like, we hate you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever really happened to me. I mean, I've bombed for long periods of time. I mean, you've watched me eat it for 35 minutes, but
where would you say was, because we only did 20s at Sulphur Springs, so we only did I don't know if you've bombed. I mean,
I've never straight up biffed it, but like, I mean, El Reno, I still probably did the best on the show, but it was just, I mean, 400 people could be there. How hard can you laugh to fill up that place?
So back to Lincoln, we did that theater show, or I guess we haven't talked about it, but we did a brewery show that was not great on a Sunday. On Saturday, the day before,
the brewery was great. It's just we did 2 shows in a town. And
we messed up. They also had comedy the night before there, so it was kind of just a combination of.
Yeah, I do think though if we'd only done one show, that we
probably would have had a better chance. Yeah, but we did a theater before that, and I mean it was okay, but you said something that you overheard somebody in the bathroom, or did your dad hear the person?
My dad heard that, so it's probably made up. But
what did they say? They go, "Thank God that last guy was funny. Otherwise, this show would have sucked."
Yeah, so that's the first sentence of my bio now.
yeah. Just ask the people of Lincoln.
Well, it was a theater that held 200 people, and there was 100 people in there, maybe.
Yeah, which I mean,
but still half full of any room looks half full. You know?
And
they didn't serve booze, so it's always a more uptight crowd when they're eating popcorn.
We started the show late because they didn't serve booze, so people were running across the street
taking a shot.
Take shots at the bar.
I think if they had served alcohol, it could have been like a cool, fun, rowdy show. But it was just, I don't know.
It was fun. I mean,
the show was fun. I had a good set, and that's all that really matters. Is I
remember. I think it was like I did 25 minutes, and it was like minute 18. When I felt like I actually got a decent laugh.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's opened up now.
Yeah. It was not that I wasn't getting laughs before, but there's a difference between like, again, the light giggles and like everybody's like, we like this.
Yeah.
Which is always fun. Yeah, I guess how long have we gone here? 44? Okay, we can wind down. I throw in this amount of video and audio into my older computer and Premiere Elements, the basic one. The computer's like, we don't appreciate all this. It takes hours to like render and stuff, which is pretty obnoxious. Do you have a newer?
Yeah, I bought a new computer with one of those Trump checks, the bigger one. I spent the whole thing on it, so it's the nicest computer I've ever owned. But dude, video is insane. So it still struggles. It's not like I could edit a bunch of 4K. It would take forever.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm not recording in 4K because it's
then why am I even doing this?
Yeah, we're just gonna be blurry and no, it's probably 1080, but 4K is so much more storage. It's
than 1080.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. I still have to use an external hard drive to edit anything, basically, because my hard drive can't hold all the footage.
Yeah, I need to get I'll probably look into getting a new computer just because like the video stuff itself is, it's a headache when your computer is older. Yeah, so there's kind of the good, the bad, whatever the shows. I'm thinking about, I've been ending the podcast on, since I've been trying to read more. Talking about books. You read any good books recently, or just any books in general?
Yeah, I'm reading the Anthony Bourdain book.
Yeah, The Kitchen.
Yeah, Confidential.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm almost done with it.
Good. I've heard that's very good.
It's really good. It's really good. And I worked in kitchens, so it's fun. Reminded me of that part of my life.
Was he, when he wrote that, because what is that about, like the behind the scenes working in a kitchen?
Yep, him just coming up in New York restaurants, and then kind of, his whole career and all the people and different characters he met along the way and how he formed his opinions on food.
When he came out with that, were people upset, like in the kitchen, in the food industry, because he was like giving...
Honestly, when the guys I was around, they kind of treated him like he was a rock star. They were into it because he was kind of a bad boy. Like he did heroin and stuff.
Yeah,
and also cooked eggs.
Yeah. So
he was kind of like the first real.
He
was very different than like Emeril or whatever. The other TV chefs of the time.
Yeah,
so people really liked him.
Yeah, he was something new and different. Is that you read anything else, or do you usually go with autobiography or more?
I read a lot of autobiographies a lot of nonfiction. I don't know why. I guess I just don't know how to find fiction books.
Yeah,
honestly.
I feel
if people recommend me a book, I always read it because I don't know how to find a book.
If you liked it, then I've gotten some recommendation. The personality type of people who they'll recommend they just recommend everything they do. It doesn't have to be good. They have the personality type of just like, well, I did it, so I want you to do it now.
Good. Yeah.
I hate that. I've had so many people I think most people have had that person where it's just like, you have to try this. And it's not even because it's good. It's just like, I tried it and I want you to share in the experience of.
Sure.
I'm not a big fan of that, but I'm reading, I just finished book called Open Season by C.J. Box. It's about a fiction about a game warden in Wyoming.
All right.
So, that was pretty good. This one, what would you say from the cover this is about?
Aliens.
So, I'm currently reading The 3-Body Problem. I don't know if you'll be able to...
I didn't read what it said, but just off of the art, aliens.
Well, I'm 100 pages in. I'm not quite sure what it's about.
I would have given up, dude.
Because based off the cover, it kind of looks like a aliens mixed with self-help book. Or
it could be
self-improvement book.
Right, because of the pyramid.
Yeah.
But the thing over top of it makes it look like aliens, like some sort of orb.
Yeah, and it's like coming to Netflix. It's like... And it's interesting so far, but... It's one of those where it has like all the reviews and kind of the synopsis in, and I've read that and been like, I still don't know what this is about, which always makes me feel really stupid. It's like I feel like I'm probably just reading it and it's given some clues, and I'm.
Yeah, I read A Brave New World earlier this year, and I mean that book was written in 1936. Every fourth word I'm looking up, dude.
Oh gosh.
Just all of it. I was like, I'm the dumbest person ever. I don't know any of these words, and I flipped it over, and it was like 1936. So I was like, oh, okay.
We don't use those words
They're
anymore.
gone.
Yeah. Did you memorize, or do you have one of those vocabulary words that you remembered?
No. I mean, not in particular. There were so many in that book where I was like, wow, I'm really just going to have to go over context, because I had started writing them down and be like, I'm going to look them up. I'm like, this is too many words.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I did with the last book I read, Hyperion. Which you
started off by looking up that word.
Yeah, I was like, what does this mean? It was an okay book, but it was frustrating because it was a book about, for lack of a longer description, 7 people who had to come together to do this mission to like save the universe, kind of.
That classic tale.
And on their way to this mission, each of them told a tale of what kind of brought them there, hoping that all of their understanding of how everybody's connected to this mission will help them figure out how to solve the mission. And so you're reading through all these things, and you're like, all right, the end's going to tie it all together. And the end did not tie. Literally, the end was just like them walking towards the mission, and just like that was the ending. And you're like...
Because sometimes it's just about the journey, Ben. It's not really about the destination.
Oh, man.
I think you missed the metaphor.
I was a little upset. 450 pages reading.
It'd be so funny if there was a sequel and you just don't know.
Actually, well, it is. There's like 3 books.
Yeah, that's why it ended that way.
Yeah, but also you can't have 0 under. Like, you have to tie it up somehow.
You would hope, but some stuff's
they didn't.
Just not great.
But that book, there was a bunch of words that I wasn't fully familiar with. But some authors do this thing where their vocabulary is like so big, that they don't reuse words that often.
Right.
That's the only time that I'll look stuff up is when an author like uses, after multiple 100 pages. A lot of times, if they're using certain vocabulary, it's like he said this every 10 pages. Right. I should probably look it up because. But I looked at the last book. The one word that I looked up. Let me know. Are you familiar with the word suffused?
Suffused, no.
Suffuse, to spread through or over.
Yeah, never heard it.
Yeah, I'll forget that. I do this weird thing where I feel like it sounds pretentious, like saying it, but I feel like the only way I'm gonna memorize words is if I like.
Yeah, but that's one I haven't heard anybody use. I don't know if you need to have that. Memorized.
Yeah. Basically, every new word I learn, I'm like, I can't fit this in and not have people be like, you're trying too hard.
Yeah, that one is real hard.
Anyways, well, any book recs or Netflix movie recs you've seen?
Recs. I don't know, man.
You watching All of Us, you said? Or The Last of Us?
The Last of Us, that's true. Yeah, I watched all the episodes. I'm caught up. There's a new one out today, though, right?
Yeah.
Sunday?
Is it the season finale?
I think there might be 2 more.
2 more?
So this one and then next week, too.
Yeah, I got thrown off because I thought last Sunday they didn't have it because they did it after.
Because they did it early because of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they skipped it. So they did it on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot I watched that all in like one weekend. So
yeah,
I've already
I watched
the
it in one night.
Yeah, dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
The first episode is 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I had a lot of time on my hands.
There's no episode shorter than like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours, but I'm dedicated to getting through stuff, binge watching. But we'll end there. Feel free to follow us on social media. What's your tag?
Edward Bell Comedy.
Ben Dailey Comedy, Dailey. We'll end it there, and see you guys again next week.